This podcast is brought to you by Infinite Resources, a local staffing agency connecting diverse job candidates in central Iowa companies.
Amplified.
I'm your host, Abena Sankofa Imhotep, and welcome back to Black and Privileged in America podcast. Catch Black and Privileged in America podcast on SoundCloud and on our very own platform, amplifieddsm.com. And please follow our Facebook page. Today, we have a very special guest in the house, an author, an entrepreneur, and I'll tell you about her in just a moment. But I do want to say thank you to our sponsors. Our sponsors are Infinite Resources and Amplified DSM. Also, I want to encourage you to pick up a copy of your local newspaper, not just any local newspaper, but specifically Black Iowa News. There is a thing going around now with the rise of internet news and multiple media platforms on which to get updates about what's happening in the world, that there is a decrease in support for local media. So it is always my hope to encourage all of our listeners here at Black and Privileged in America podcast to support local Black-owned and brown-owned media. Particularly, I want to raise up Black Iowa News. I did so on our last episode, published by the incomparable Dana James, and she covers stories about Black Iowans from all across the state. There's a story about the new grocery store in Waterloo called All In Grocers. There's a really amazing story as well about some historical stuff. A Black cycling great named Marshall Major Taylor, who was a world-class champion in cycling, and a documentary coming out to honor him. And then, of course, our disparities. We always want to highlight our disparities, because if we talk about it and highlight it, then we're more likely to be able to do something about it. So, of course, Black Iowa News, right on the front page, they have a story about racism in maternity care and the Black maternal health rate. So please, there are multiple outlets where you can pick up this newspaper. Sankofa Literary and Empowerment Group is one of those outlets at Mainframe Studios in Des Moines, Suite 370. Pick up a copy of Black Iowa News. Now, today, we have a very special guest. I'm so happy to have her here in the studio with us today. Her name is Lilian Okech, and I'm going to briefly introduce you to Lilian. She is a motivational speaker, entrepreneur, author, teacher, visionary, collaborative author with multiple Amazon #1 best-selling books. She is also the co-founder of Brother Tech Community Organization and Internet Cafe and Computer Training Center. This center brings internet services and computer training closer to the people of South Sudan. It is Lily's goal to change South Sudan through the advancement of technology and motivate younger women and men to pursue their goals. Please welcome to the show, Lilian Okech.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here. I'm so tickled. I'm literally delighted that you are here. And we're going to talk about a lot of stuff in the short time that we have together. We're going to talk about the books that you've written. But first, I want to just start out by having you tell the Black and Privileged audience who you are. I know that's a broad question, but Lily, who are you?
Well, my name is Lilian Okech. My parents are originally from South Sudan. When my mother, they were fleeing from South Sudan, she was pregnant with me. So when they arrived in refugees camp in South Sudan, I was born in refugees camp, and we lived in refugees camp for 15 years.
For 15 years.
15 years. And after 15 years, we have the opportunity to come to America. So we come here in 2005. Our first state was Idaho. And then from Idaho, I moved to Utah. And then from Utah, now I'm in Iowa. And so coming here, I have 4 boys. I started cleaning business, and that led me into becoming a public speaker, and that led me into writing a book. So
my gosh. Okay, we got to back up a little bit. You have such a life. I mean, such a story that is really an amazing journey. So I want to kind of rewind a little bit and go back to the refugee camp that you grew up in.
Yes.
And do you mind sharing that experience? Because I think to spend the first 15 years in your life in a refugee camp, I don't think a lot of our listeners would have any clue what that's like. So can you talk a little bit about your experience there?
Yes, so our refugees camp was a little bit different than any other refugees camp. Of course, we have a place where we can plant our food. So we have a free land where we can dig and plant our food. But when we just arrived in refugees camp, just like any other refugees camp, number one, you don't know the place. Number two, you're not familiar with the country, or you're not familiar with the language, or you're not familiar with the environment. So U.S. usually step in to help the people who arrive in refugees camp.
Right. So what country were you in?
I was in Uganda.
In Uganda. So that's just south of South Sudan? Is that
yes,
right? Okay.
Yes, that is south of South Sudan.
Okay. So the U.S. stepped in and helped in what way?
It's a UN. So
the UN, my bad. The
No,
United Nations.
Yes, the United Nations step in by providing food, number one, and then providing shelter like tent. And then they will go into medicals and the need of basic human need. Those are something that they provide before even looking into maybe education or any other further do.
That's amazing. So with you during that time, it was your mom and yourself?
It was my mom and my 7 sister. I'm number 7 in my family.
Oh, you're the baby.
My mom have 10 kids.
Okay.
So at the time, yes, when they arrived in refugees camp, when I was born, I was the baby among the family. But it was not only my family, it was like the whole community because the war got broken in our village. So the whole village have to flee for their life and leave everything they have, like livestock, their house, their clothes, everything.
So everything that your family and other families, everything they owned, you had to leave it behind.
Yes, because you can't run, you can't carry anything.
You can't take none of that with you.
It's pretty much you will be in the anxiety of fleeing for your life. So you don't even care about the natural thing that the physical material that we have. So you just have to flee for your life because there will be like a gunshot bombing, and with all the anxiety, you just want to get out and find safety.
Wow. That's incredible. And thinking about what you've gone through, what you survived, and your family, that's amazing to me. I'm so grateful that you're here right now in this moment. So then how was it determined that you would get to the United States and then to Idaho? How did Idaho come about?
So the first thing that the UN did, they talked with some of the Western world, like America, Australia, Canada, Norway. So Switzerland, they sit down and be like, okay, we have a bunch of people in this country where we don't know when they will go back to their country, but there's a great opportunity here. Like in America, there's a lot of factory work. Why can we work together to bring those people here? And that when they come together and start putting a form together for people to fill it out. So when your name, I would say maybe when you're lucky or when your name come up, then you will have the opportunity to come to U.S. because you have to go through a process of interview, making sure that you are really you really flee your country and you're really living in refugees camp. So from there.
And how long was that before your family got the news that your name had come up?
Ours was a little bit complicated because it took about a year when we finished all the process. We were supposed to be here in September of 2011. But because the September 11,
oh yeah,
they shut down everything.
Yeah.
Then we have to go back to refugees camp and live another 4 years before our name can come up.
Wow. So September 11th, when the attacks happened in the United States, that put a halt.
Yeah, it put a halt on
everything.
Everything, especially for the people who are coming in the United States. We have a lot of backlog of some people. They didn't even get the opportunity to come to U.S.
And they stayed in the camp.
Yes.
Okay. So then Idaho.
Yes.
You went from South Sudan to Uganda.
Uganda. I was born in Uganda. I've
Oh.
never been in South Sudan, so I was born in Uganda, from Uganda to Idaho.
So, according to your book, on the front cover, Spirit of Warriors, it says you were conceived in
Yes.
South Sudan, born in Uganda, discovered in America. So, let's talk about that. When you got to Idaho, I'm sure that was very different than Uganda.
It was so much more. And the worst part is like we come in January.
Oh my goodness, in the snow.
And January in Africa is like every day is 100 degree.
Mm-hmm.
So now coming into a different climate, it's like negative degree. You'll be like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
And that can be warm sometimes. I mean, negative 20 isn't so bad if you're used to living in negative 50.
Yes.
But if you're used to 100 degrees every day, then that's
That's
shock.
not good.
Okay, so how did you adjust? I mean, buying a coat, what was that like?
I think it was something that, like, when you're a human beings, being born in refugees camp, and we really don't have a choice of coming to America. We just know that they talk about how great this country is. There's opportunity. That's all our imagination knows. So coming in this country, we don't even like really paying attention of like.
Nobody tells you about the snow.
No, no, they don't.
Yeah. So the opportunity, though.
Yeah, but they tell you about the opportunity and what you can accomplish in this country. So now when you arrive here, you just have to adjust yourself in the cold, knowing that there's no turning back.
There's no turning back.
Yeah, so you don't have a choice. So just get used to it.
Okay, this is incredible. So I'm struck by your mom to be able to keep her family together and take care of the kids, and she's expecting a new baby, you, and then all of this is happening, you're born and everything is still happening, and then coming to the United States, you're in Idaho. What was it like to be, how did you adjust to life in Idaho, school, friends, that kind of thing, the social aspect?
It was very difficult, especially for me. I was 15 years old. So that is the age where you have to identify who is your best friend.
Yeah.
And that is the time where you start getting this thing called falling in love.
Right. Oh, my God. Puberty.
Yeah, right?
Jeez.
So for me to just change the environment, it was a little bit hard on me. And on top of that, when you come to U.S. at that age, I come here as 15 years old. I don't speak in English, so I have to start learning my ABC in 9th grade.
Right.
And on top of that, within 6 months, the government will cut all the help from you. Like
So there was no more assistance from the
there's no
government
more
after 6
assistance.
months?
Yes. So no more assistance. Your family have to find a job. And paying the bills was something that we didn't get used to when we were in our country. And on top of that, she's a single mother with 7 children. So I'm the second oldest. Now I'm trying to go to school, try to pick up the language, try to understand the language. As seeing my mom struggling with life, so I have to put a school as a secondary and find a job. My first job was at Walmart and help her. On top of that, my mom, she's don't speak English all right, so that means she can't drive. So that means I have to grow up very quickly and learn how to drive so I can help my family. So my life become kind of cycle of I just get stuck in life because here at 15 years old, try to understand the language, getting a job, helping my mom, driving my family around. And because we have such a huge family, I have to like step in and taking people to the appointment. And
you were another mom.
Yes.
Essentially, you were like you said, you had to grow up really quickly.
I have to grow up very quickly, and that lead me into it's a pressure of life lead me into thing called, I don't think I was falling in love. I think I was looking for comfort. Mm-hmm. And that when just living in the U.S. within 2 years, I get pregnant.
And I don't think that's unusual. Mm-hmm. I think you were perhaps, a lot of young people will fall into trying to fill those gaps that they feel emotionally or inside with other
Right.
things. So that is that okay. So tell us about that.
So I got
So
pregnant.
you were 16, 15 when you
Yes,
got pregnant?
I was 16 at the time. So getting pregnant in our culture, when a girl get pregnant, they have to, whether you like it or not, you have to marry the man.
Oh my goodness.
So you can imagine in my situation, I was not looking for love. I did not fall in love. It was just something that I was looking for comfort because I have such a big hole in my heart and I just feel overwhelmed with life. So now I have to find myself as a mother and a wife at 16 years old in America.
Okay, wait a minute. Is that in the book? Oh my gosh. Okay, listen. The spirit of warriors. I cannot wait to read this book. Okay, so you were 16 years old, getting ready to have a baby,
Yes,
married,
yes,
and taking care of your family
yes.
and your mom and everybody. Did you drop out of school?
Yes, I have to drop
Yeah,
out
I
of
was going to
school
say there's
because
no way.
there's no way that I can do that. But because in my culture, when you become pregnant, you have to leave your home and go to the man's house. So I have to leave my family and go to his house.
How did he feel about that?
I think for him, it was natural for him because that is just how our culture, how men grow up. So I think for him, he know that he like me. So that is sometimes how men will get young girls because it's like, if I love you, then when I get you pregnant, you'll be mine.
My wife.
Yes.
Wow, that's a whole nother show. Listen, Lily, this is going to be a 2-part. Gosh, okay. And so then what happens there? How did that relationship resolve itself? Like, did that relationship grow? I'm really in all your business today. But I just want to know, I want to explore you as a human being because
Right.
the fact of the matter is I see all the stuff that you're doing in the community. And to me, you're a superhero. But behind the cape, there's a person.
Right.
And I just want to understand the person. And I know our audience will appreciate that. So what happened next?
I think for me, I want to go back to when we arrived in this country. We
Yeah.
arrived in New York City. So at JF Kennedy International, that where the caseworker will welcome you to America. So the funny thing is the person who welcomed us to U.S., she was African American. She was wearing a long black hair. She was wearing a suit and a brown coat with a boot. And she was walking with just a confidence. And when I see this woman walk toward us, I look at her and I look around the airport and I said, wow, this is America. Because you have to remember, I was born in refugees camp. I never see a woman in a black suit. I never see a woman walking with such a confidence. But seeing her walking with such a confidence, she has such a beautiful smile. Right there at the airport, I promised myself, I said, I don't know how life is going to be in the U.S. for me, but one day I want to wear a black suit and a brown coat.
Yes. Oh my God. Oh, one day. Okay.
One day.
My God. Okay. So Lily, the impression that this woman had on you before she even spoke a word.
Yes.
So have you worn your black suit?
Yes, I did.
You did. Oh my gosh.
So that played a big role in my life because even though I was forced in this relationship, even though I was living in this abusive relationship, even though I was having these children, I still have that mental image really stuck in my head that one day I know there's something great out there. One day I just want to wear a black suit and a brown coat. And that would drive me to become the person that I am today.
The type of mental stamina and strength and fortitude that you had to have, or that was already in you. I think this stuff is already in you, girl.
Right.
In order to hold on to that dream.
Yes.
Where does that come from? Like, because there's some people would break under the pressure of what you've been through. And I'm sure there are many people who just haven't been able to survive it.
Right.
But where does your strength come from?
I think my resilience come from my mother, because my mother, my father was not a great husband to her, and so she survived that relationship that nobody should be in, and so living in that relationship, having 8 children with my father, and I see my mom every morning. She wake up at 4 a.m. and she will go get collect the wood, bring it home, go get water, bring it home, and go to the garden. And we never one day, even though we were living in refugees camp, we never one day lack any food. We always have food because she works so hard for us. And I take her work ethic and I see the way she struggled. That's why my book is called The Spirit of the Warriors of my ancestor. That I see in a refugees camp, that they survive the war and they survive what society put in them, and they come together to support themselves, to be there for themselves, to be there for one another. And that what moved me, because I said, if they lost everything and they were able to move on with life and take care of their children and put their children in a school, even when there was no school, they built their own school. They start by sitting under the tree and teaching their children.
Okay, hold on. What? This is so amazing. This is like you're talking to a thirsty woman and every word you're saying is water. Okay, this is beautiful. You mean to tell me that they made their own school?
Yes.
This is amazing to me.
Yes. Because they know that there's something great. They know that the world should not limit them. And honestly, the people who they went to school and they know a little bit, somebody like my father, they just got the children together under the tree, and people will write on the floor, like on the desk, because we don't have paper or pencil or anything.
So right in the dirt, just write the lessons right there.
Just write it right there. So and just.
Okay, there is no excuse for anybody out there who is saying that they don't have a mechanism, a pathway to learning.
Right.
There's no excuse.
No.
Oh my goodness, Lily. Okay. Wow. So then let's fast forward a little bit. Oh my God. I'm just blown away because this is, like I said earlier, I'm struck by your mom and her strength, her resilience. You got that from her, and it's just in you.
Right.
It is the strength of a mother. What a mother won't do for her kids. Right. That's beautiful. Yes. So then, how did you get from New York to Idaho, and then from Idaho to Iowa?
So usually when they bring people in the U.S., they will find somebody that from your community. So if they're bringing somebody from Uganda that they don't have any family member here, they will look for the community where the Ugandans are, and then they will take that person in that state because they have somebody there they can connect. So for us going to Idaho, our older sister, she had the opportunity to come here in 1999. So she's the one filled the form for us to come here.
Ah, so your sister was already here.
Yeah, so
great.
My sister was already here. And so that why we went to Idaho, because she's the one filled the form for us. And her husband was here first, and they're the one who get this paper from the UN to just come here. And then when he come here, he was looking for a wife, and he found my sister and brought her here, and then my sister brought us here.
That's awesome. What a journey.
Right, yeah.
So since you've been in Iowa, you've done so many things. I mean, when I first met you and we talked, I just was speechless. I'm like, this woman is literally a superhero. Tell us about Cleaning for Hope.
Cleaning for Hope was born when I finally wake up in my relationship knowing that that is not what I want to be. So living in that relationship, as you remember, I did not fall in love. I was just forced in the marriage with the pressure of the society, and so he failed to be a good man, I would say, because he was a little bit older than me, and he tried to oppress me down to just follow his lead in how he wanted. So, but deep in my heart, I know that no human being should control other human being. It doesn't matter in what relationship you're in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
You have your own personal agency and will.
yes. So I decided to leave the relationship and move out. By the time I move out, I already have 4 boys, and I don't have any formal education to get a good career job to support my 4 boys. And I started to cleaning our local church. People start seeing my good work, and they start asking me, hey, do you clean houses? Can you come do my house? I never have experience in cleaning, but I just take my knowledge and my skill and just start cleaning people's house, and they start referring more clients to me. So within a year, I get more clients I can handle. And I'll be like,
So you had a lot of work.
yeah, so I'm
Yeah.
like, I have a lot of work. What can I do with this? And the entrepreneurship idea come in my mind. I never own a business, but I'm like, oh, well.
You got one now.
I just kind of started.
Yeah.
And then when I started Cleaning for Hope, the big vision of Cleaning for Hope is what motivated me is because when I clean those people's house, they have stop overflowing, like the clothes. Sometimes they throw away a good furniture, and I'm like, I can start some organization where instead of them throwing this thing away, they can give it to me, and then I'll pass it on to the people in the community.
Oh, okay. This is
Yeah.
this is phenomenal.
Yes.
So not only are you cleaning people's houses, you're taking their excess stuff
Right.
that they think is like no good for them,
Yes.
but somebody will find
Exactly.
value in it. Okay.
Yes. So we collect donation and give it out in the community. And another beautiful thing about Cleaning for Hope is I truly believe in mentor. All of us women, it doesn't matter whether you were born in a good country or you come from the third world country, we struggle with our self-identity, we struggle with our confidence, and I'm like, how can I create this beautiful environment where a woman come, they feel free, they feel they're heard, and they feel that somebody's there to guide them so they can fulfill their potential. So that when Cleaning for Hope was born, and after Cleaning for Hope, when I met Karen Kelly, she is Shine Housekeeping. So we say, let's come together and form a nonprofit. So our nonprofit is called Hope to Shine. So our focus is really to just mentor women and help these people who are brand new comer in Iowa to feel safe and find the resource that they need.
I am blown away. This is amazing. You're such a bright light, and your work is the kind of work that is changing people's lives.
Yes.
So thank you for being you. Tell us about your book, The Spirit of Warriors, conceived in South Sudan, born in Uganda, discovered in America.
So when I left my relationship, I truly believe that books, the one saved me.
I can relate to that. Oh, yeah.
Yes, because I was so broken. Even though I don't love the relationship, the time that I wasted 10 years, it was breaking me down. I'm like, all this time I waste, I could have get education. I could have maybe get a better man if I were. So I was so much into regret of life, and I don't see any light. I was so depressed. But I went to public library to get some book, and one of the librarians over there said, oh, did you know that we have an app? It's called Libby. And I said, I don't know. It's like, yeah, you can download it in your phone and you can listen to book. So I download that app. I probably listen to over 100 books while I'm cleaning.
Wow. So as you're working,
Yes.
you're listening to books on the audio and
Yes.
through the app from the library.
Yes. So I go through the journey of people, their story, and some of them, they have their dark life, and some of them, they have their beautiful life. So I was going through all this, and I found myself healing myself through their story. And so, but I couldn't find something that really connected to me. somebody who were born in refugees camp, live in refugees camp for all this time, and they come in this country, they didn't go to school, they struggle. I found one book, I forgot the author name, but she didn't really struggle because her father already was a political candidate, so she had money to go to school and become study as political science, and she becomes something great. I'm like, it's kind of connected, but it's not really connected. Where is the book for somebody who gone through so much as I go through, and the story is unspoken? So why not share my story to the world and just go with it? And I just start writing, and it become a book.
This is incredible. And this is what one of my favorite authors is Toni Morrison. And she always said, if there is a book that you're looking for and you can't find it, that means you need to write it. And that's exactly what you have done, The Spirit of Warriors.
Yes.
And I hope that all of you out there get this book. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Okay, and then you've got a children's book too.
Yes.
Ageno. My mommy said I am a queen. Tell us about this book.
This book, I really love this book because when I come in this country, going to high school, children were making fun of me. Number one, because I was not speaking the language. And number two, because I don't understand the culture. And I don't see so much of our people, like the book that were connected with our children, and that they can like read it and put themselves into that shoes. And so I take my struggling in high school and transfer it into a book where it will really give hope for these children, where if they study hard and they believe in themselves and they write their dream and their vision down, there's nothing should stop them, and the color of their skin should not limit them from what they can become.
I am flipping through the pages, and the images are so beautiful. Did you illustrate the book too?
No, somebody did in India.
I mean, just look at these beautiful images.
Yes, so she was just looking in the mirror, and her mother was questioning her because she had a hard time at school and somebody make fun of her, but her mother challenged her, saying like, when they call you a monkey, look in the mirror, are you that monkey? And she said, no, I'm not.
No, not at all.
No.
My mommy said, I am a queen.
I'm a queen. And so the story of this is that the mother went back to tell the roots of where their family line come from, and how when they were back in Africa, their grandpa used to be a king. And so she need to remember her roots in order to wear the crown proudly.
Okay. This is the best ever, the best thing ever. Oh my goodness. Okay, so everybody, get this book. Ageno. My mommy said, I am a queen.
And again, it means hope.
It means hope. I mean, that is the word of the day.
Yes.
Hope. I think you're bringing hope.
Yes.
You are walking hope.
Thank you.
You are welcome. And The Spirit of Warriors by Lilian Okech. Listen, I want to just thank you so much for being here today. And at the end of all of my shows, I say, I ask my guests to recommend books, but listen, we got our books right here.
Let me mention one more thing about The Spirit of Warriors.
Yeah.
When you look at the cover, you see South Sudan, Uganda, and America.
Oh, all on the cover.
And then The Spirit of Warriors. So it's not only the warriors of my ancestor, but the warriors of those who came here as a slave as well.
Amazing. Thank you, Lily. I'm just, I'm full from our conversation, and there's so much more I want to talk to you about. So we will definitely have you back. And just thank you. Is there any, how can our listeners find you? Do you have a website, social media handles? How can they get in touch with you to purchase books or to support your work?
They can go to my website, lilianokech.com, or they can find me on social media at lilianokech.com, Or you can Google Spirit Up Warriors. You can get it through Barnes & Noble, Amazon's, what else? Any website that they sell books.
So anywhere books are sold?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, or you can go to, what is this local store?
Beaverdale Books?
Yes.
Beaverdale Books
So
in Des Moines.
You can get my book from Beaverdale Books as well, The Children, or my other book.
Wonderful. And we'll put all of that information on our show notes. This is amazing. So thank you so much, Lily.
You're welcome.
Thank you. This is Abena Sankofa Imhotep, and this has been another incredible episode of Black and Privileged in America podcast, presented by AmplifiedDSM.com. Today, we've been sitting in community with Lilian Okech, who is a phenomenal person, a tremendous spirit, a warrior, and a survivor. We are going to make sure to put all of the information about her books and her work that she does to uplift women and young people in the community. That will be included in the show notes. So please visit us at AmplifiedDSM.com and check out my website too at abenasankofa.com. Thanks for listening. Until next time.
This podcast is brought to you by Infinite Resources, a local staffing agency connecting diverse job candidates in central Iowa companies.
Amplified.